We're going to practice identifying dependent clauses within these sentences. But let's go back to the top of this paper and make sure that you have these extra subordinating conjunctions written down in the bottom of your box. We highlighted certain ones that could be used as prepositions or as subordinating conjunctions. The difference will be that if it's a preposition, it only has a noun and some modifiers after it. And if it's used as an awubis or a subordinating conjunction, then you should see a subject and a verb. And so these are some other ones that you might encounter as we go through this activity. So the first thing we need to do is find the word in this sentence that's on this list. And once you find it, you're going to circle it. And you can see that it's although. And the purpose of finding that subordinating conjunction is it tells you exactly where you need to start your dependent clause. So make sure that when you underline, you're including that subordinating conjunction. Although Terry likes a good game of cards, all by itself, that clause doesn't make any sense because of that first word there. It makes it into a fragment. So it has to be connected to another complete sentence or independent clause. Now, we do want to double check that this is a dependent clause and not a phrase, so we've got to find a subject and a verb. And I see the subject is Terry, and what does Terry do? Terry likes is my verb. In number 5, whenever Dad and I go to the rifle range, we exercise extreme caution. So I'm going to go back to my list, find the word that's on this list, that's in this sentence, and I see the word whenever. Now I need to find the dependent clause and underline it. The dependent clause starts with this subordinating conjunction, whenever. So the clause is, whenever Dad and I go to the rifle range. By itself, it's a fragment. We have to attach it to a complete sentence or an independent clause. We exercise extreme caution. Now I want to double check that this is a dependent clause. So I'm going to look for a subject. Who is the sentence about? We actually have two. It's about Dad and I. And what do Dad and I do? We go. Okay, so that's definitely a dependent clause. Number 6. A safe habitat has been mandated for the fringe-toed lizard so that it won't become extinct. I'm going to go back to my list, look for the word on this list that's in the sentence, and I see that, but I see so in front of it. And if I look over here, I do have that by itself, but when it's with so, we want to go with the one that has a greater context with it. So that it won't become extinct by itself does not make sense. It's a dependent clause. We have to combine it with the rest of that sentence. A safe habitat has been mandated for the fringe-toed lizard so that it won't become extinct. I'm going to double check that this is a dependent clause. Got a subject, it. Won't become is my verb. Number 7, because she wants to lose weight and be healthy, Shazzy now eats nutritious meals. Go back to your list. You're going to find the word or the phrase in here that acts as a subordinating conjunction. Circle it, and then underline your clause. The subordinating conjunction is because, and that tells me where the dependent clause starts, because she wants to lose weight and be healthy. Now go back and make sure that this is a dependent clause by telling me the subject and the verb. Who is it about? She. And what does she do? She wants. Number 8. Oh, I see a typo. If every day were like this one, I would never have to worry about it again. I'm going to look for my word in here. Let's remember that that's an if. And that's actually your hint because if is your subordinating conjunction. If every day were like this one is a dependent clause. Now go make sure that it's got a subject and a verb. And where subject is every day And my verb is were. It's that linking verb that we studied at the beginning of the year and memorized. By itself, if every day were like this one, does not express a complete thought, so I had to connect it to that other sentence. The pelican scooped up a tasty fish while it struggled furiously to escape its predator. Okay, you're going to be looking for your subordinating conjunction. Underline it, the dependent clause once you find it, and label the subject and the verb. While is a subordinating conjunction that tells me where the dependent clause starts. While it struggled furiously to escape its predator. It is the subject. What did it do? It struggled. Number 10, Bill got there very early this morning so that he'd be there first to purchase a season pass. Now look for my subordinating conjunction, circle it, underline your dependent clause, and then label your subject and your verb. So I see so that together is my subordinating conjunction. I'm going to underline the entire clause, the rest of that sentence, so that he'd be there first to purchase a season pass. The subject is he, and we know that a contraction kind of joins our helping verb. Would be is our verb. At this point, I'm going to say that you are going to practice the next, we've got 4, 8 on your own. If you would like to check them, you can use the next screencast that's labeled on the lesson plan to check your work before you turn it in. But make sure you take your time and make sure if you need to, that you go back and watch the screencast at the beginning to help you make sure you understand how to find dependent clauses.